On March 4th, in the year 44, Julius Caesar, the tyrant of Rome, is dead. His heirs, Octavian, his son, and his political ally, seek to revive his glory. Octavian has obviously been on campaign with the tyrant and knows a little bit about fighting. While in the east, his general, Mark Antony, also decides to inherit Caesar's power. Thus, in their first attempt, they try to kill and destroy the assassins of Julius Caesar. Octavian, he will lead his armies north and take most of the west of Rome, and most importantly, the city of Rome itself. However, out of this chaos, was still another man who could dare attempt to claim the rightful ruler, and that was no other than Sextus Pompey. His father, Pompey the Great, was none other than one of Julius Caesar's rivals, who was later killed by Julius Caesar. Now Sextus Pompey controlled Sicily, and after defeating Octavian at the Battle of Meseta, he now controls Sardinia and Corsica. And that is where we start the campaign. Welcome to the campaign of Pompey, Sextus Pompey to be exact. As we are looking at right now, we are looking at the island of Sicily, which is one of Pompey's home bases. Now we are looking at the island Sardinia and Corsica, which were given to Pompey by Octavian after he lost the Battle of Meseta. As of right now, we are all going on no edicts. We are now doing a lot of temples and a lot more temples. So all across the islands of Sardinia and Sicily, we're just boosting temples. For technology, we're just focusing on military. And let's look at our government. Everyone is pro-Pompeian dynasty. There's no chance of civil war, which is great. And other parties are the Patriciate Council, but not for long. Now, what are we doing also? We have a dad who's not really our dad, but who's not a real dad, but yeah. I don't even know who this guy is. The Patriciate Council are the other people. Our Ptolemaic dynasty is our dynasty, our faction. So I'm just getting all the members of our faction. Yeah. That's it for government. Now let's go to Pompey himself. You see, Pompey is in leading an army, which is what I exactly want to. In terms of the navy, I have to do a lot of things. One of which is just disband this unit that costing 501 per turn. That's a lot of money, especially in the early game. And 2 is exactly 1,000, so that is really big. So disbanding my entire heavy ship fleet, we're just setting sail to group them together. The second that ships enters port, I'm gonna just get all my ships into one massive fleet, and that is gonna be my warships fleet. And the reason why I'm doing that is gonna be really foreseeable for the rest of my campaign with Pompey. And what we're doing right now was I toyed with the idea of actually I just replaced most of my generals, the generals that I was given with my generals. And yeah, I gave them positions, and the reason why I'm doing that is really simple. I need them to get influence, and influence means I get more lands under my control, as in terms of my party control. So when civil war starts, nothing is lost. Next turn, we're just going to be building supply ships, but as of right now, the edicts has not been set, so yeah. In terms of our enemies, Lepidus is right here, and yep. So the first thing I'm going to ask Octavian to do is please, if you would please, just cancel his defensive alliance with Lepidus and Antony. And he doesn't, so I'm just going to ask him to cancel the alliance with Lepidus, which he rightfully agrees. Now Anthony, I'm going to ask him to cancel his defensive alliance with Octavian and Lepidus, which he both successfully agrees to. Now, the only other faction, as you can see on this list, is Numidia, and that actually likes me, but Numidia is an ally of Lepidus. All the other Roman factions hate me off the bat. Jumping into the next turn, we are out of food. Nothing we can do with there, and a new party has formed, but that's going to be a talk for later. We do not really need to do anything else. And Lepidus has just been declared war by not one, but two of the other Roman factions, so that is very impressive. Or very bad, I should say. For my army, I'm just going to recruit a ton hell of cavalry. But at first, I'm just going to move it to the border between between the two provinces. Mercenaries, I cannot get really anything good. Just going to deploy just going to buy a lot of cavalry and some legionnaires. The only legionnaire that would make sense in this one is the regular Imperial legionnaires. But let's be honest, during this time, there was no such thing as Imperial legionnaires because Rome has not gone to the Imperial era. But hey, who cares? It's DEI. Sometimes it's historically accurate, sometimes it's not. My spy, I'm gonna ask her to scout out the city of Carthage, which has been given to Lepidus during the Second Triumvirate. More on that later in the history talk, but as of right now, I'm just scouting Carthage. This is my empire so far, and on the next turn, I found that Lepidus has started actually to move his ships together in one massive, not fleet, but like transfer fleet. And that just gave me a lot of ideas. Ideas that you'll see very, very, very soon. Off the bat, we are still out of food, and to make it worse, we are out of money. We're getting a negative deficit. And another interesting factor is that Mark Antony has just declared war on Octavian, so that's very interesting. There's an Octavian fleet to the north, but hey, we're not at war with Octavian at this point, although he hates my guts. But so does the other Romans, because we all hate each other for claiming control of Rome. The Lepidus fleet, the Lepidanian fleet, I guess, is not really impressive, but diplomatic-wise, I still need a reason to declare war on Lepidus. So I asked Octavian if I could kindly join his war against Lepidus, to which he agrees. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I do not want Lepidus' allies to declare war on me. And the best way to do that is join other people's wars against Lepidus. That allows their allies not to declare war. Now, let's jump into the battle. Jumping into the battle, we see my fleet, the better fleet, I guess. Well, obviously it is the better fleet, armed with mostly ballista at the front. Now these ballista are fire-throwing balls. They throw a fireball at our enemy ships. The Lepidus fleet does not have any sort, and if they do, it's only a handful. Now, the first thing I do with all naval battles is have my heavy ships, the heaviest ships I have, charge straight at the enemy warships. And while I'm doing that, I order them to ram. Most ships get instantly killed, except for this ship, which is the general ship. All across the front, our ships are not only winning, but drowning the enemy sailors. As you can see in the background, eventually, you will see an entire transport fleet, which I intend to get during this entire battle. If I get those transport fleet and I kill all of them, that makes our life with the invasion of Africa even more successful. This ship is about to sink, and it is already sinking. Its sailors are jumping off, and another ship is about to sink. The only two catapult ships they have are now gone. As a matter of fact, their entire warship fleet is gone. Continuing on, you see some of my ships just going straight for Lepidus' fleet. And at this point, they're not moving because I'm waiting for the other ships to come and regroup. But anyway, let's look at Lepidus' transport ships. The deal with transport ships is, and their only way to win, is to have them board the other ships, which is definitely what not I'm asking them to do. I do not want them to board me. Now, besides that little error right there, I'm having my ships fire flaming balls at the transport ships. Obviously, if you can set an enemy ship on fire, that's always the best. Some shots are hitting, and while other shots are not. Especially on a moving ship, and at this range, it's pretty hard to hit anything. Now, for the first time, our ships are going to be ramming the transport ships, which is pretty easy. The first one is already sunk, while the other one is trying to board. But that boarding is going to end very, very slow. And at that time, my ships are just going to flank and break his boarding ship and sinking it. You see a lot of javelins being thrown by his transport ships, and that is the thing about Roman units. They have a lot of javelins, no matter where they are. And continuing on, some of my ships are literally firing at the enemy ships point blank, but a lot of his ships are being sunk. And that is the battle. Now, obviously, I sank his entire fleet, and what I'm going to do right now is going to ransom the captives. Actually, no, I'm going to kill them, I think. And I'm just going to kill them because I do not want any of them to survive, and going to make Lepidus and Mark Antony happy, because I've killed a lot of their captives. Continuing on, I'm bringing the fleet within the borders of Carthage, and although I'm broke, I decide to give my fleet an upgrade. Not an upgrade in terms of money upgrade, but just due to their experience. And let's end the turn. On the next turn, we're still out of food, surprise surprise to everyone except for me. And I ordered assault on Carthage. Now, let's begin the battle. The assault on Carthage is going to be a naval assault battle. And what's special about the naval assault battle is, well, some of my troops are very elite, while other troops, my transport troops, on transport ships, are being deployed. As of right now, you see my heavy ships just going for it. Just look at those blue uniforms, blue shields. Very classic of the Roman Marines. Same thing with these heavy ballista, more Roman units in blue, Roman Marines. His ships are not that impressive. Most of his ships are untrained sailors. Most of them can only throw javelins, and that is what they expel at. Their only hope is to hopefully sink some of my ships, because if they land, I have another set of sources. As of right now, we're just looking at some whales. Now, the first barrage begins with my ships hitting one of his ships, and it is one of his better ships. Now, it's not completely destroyed, but it is on fire. You see his ships trying to ram my ships, but they stop to throw their javelins, while my troops don't do anything. Now, I just kind of sit there because I was expecting the ships to do something impressive, and even if they don't do anything impressive, my heavy ships, one of my heavy ships, are gonna ram his. Now, the ramming officially begins right now. Although he does manage to somehow get one small ram on my ships. You see me targeting the second ship, and the reason is because I have another ship targeting that ship, one of my assault troops. Now, before I even finish my ram, everyone on his larger ship is dead, just to show you how much javelin fire can do.
To the oars!
Skipping ahead, the naval assault part begins. As you can see, my ships are firing a lot of flaming balls of death, or how I would put it in military terms is stones set on fire and being thrown at the enemy forces. As you can see, these defenders are trying to run for their lives. Some of them have been hit while the others have not. This is actually one of their better units, I believe. It is the Italian swordsman, which is, surprise surprise, a levy garrison unit. This one is even worse, called the mob, which I do not expect them to hold at all. Behind them is their only cavalry, which is Italian cavalry, but that is really also a joke compared to my better units. Once again, these guys are still being fired upon by a lot of projectiles. And at this point, I'm just gonna watch. We're just gonna watch, as a matter of fact, the fireworks. As you can see, my tower ships, these ships with massive towers on them, are moving ever closer, and the reason is simply because of these massive towers can rain down arrows. As you can see right here, a lot of arrows are raining on these Italian swordsmen. Even more flaming balls of death are raining down on them. But let's be honest, this is all covering up for my massive assault that is about to begin later. These slingers, on the other hand, have a other hard time just trying to sling at my ships because my ships are wooden and their slings cannot penetrate wood. Their stones cannot penetrate wood. Continuing on, you see some of my cavalry which have landed earlier in the battle are just now in testudo formation, but this testudo formation is interestingly only for cavalry. What I'm doing right here is trying to burn the gate. Eventually I just gave up on this tactic, but as of right now, I'm just trying to burn the gate. Looking at some of our troops that are landed, here are our Roman Marines. As expected, not great looking. Our more elite Roman Legionnaires are even better looking, although with darker shields, more like purple. The officer right here is holding an orange shield, and the standard bearer is holding the standards. Back on the landing port, we're finally landing some of our Corsican heavy auxiliary units. Obviously, these are not one of the best units I can deploy on the field because the other elite unit I have sent forward is on the right, but you guys cannot see it because it's still trying to land. And the reason why it's taking so hard for them to land is because they have two boats, which makes the landing procedure even more cumbersome. But anyway, our Corsican auxiliaries are just doing fine. So far, no unit has just tried to rush us, which is even better. Now, let's just observe this landing process. Another interesting thing that I've done is taking down the tower, or the central plaza, which is where we are right now. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it gives you a massive bonus, well, not a massive, but just a big bonus to your units. As you can see, enemy cavalry is coming very near, so I decided to form these auxiliary infantry into a square formation. Obviously, I am afraid of enemy units charging me from the back, which is why I decided to form a square formation. Also, I'm afraid of being flanked. Now the Roman cavalry, or their Italian cavalry, has just finally charged it with some mob as military support. But both of them are quite bad. The mob is even weaker, and as you can see in behind, a lot of more levy units. This time a better unit, which I believe it's the Italian spearmen, are charging straight towards us. During this entire time, you see my ships just trying to move because this is a very narrow place. While this battle is going on, my troops are pinning them in the front. And on the other hand, you can see this square formation. Now, a massive volley of javelins from my Evocati cohort, which is, or Eagle cohort in standard English, is being thrown at the defenders. Now, why, you might be asking me, why is it 2 ships instead of 1 ship? It's because the Evocati cohort has a man unit of 400 units. And the reason because of that is historically these Evocati cohort were supposed to be the vanguard troops. That is why they were given not only extra pay, but extra manpower. That is why in the game they have 400 instead of 200. Now, they come charging off the boats, and now they are engaging in melee combat, flanking the enemies, which is wonderful, because now I have them pinned with my Corsican auxiliaries. And here comes the Evocati cohort.
Attack their position! Yes, Commander!
For some reason, during this entire battle, as you can see in the background, I have my Corsican auxiliaries trying to form a shield wall. They do that, but the problem with them is that they kept forming elsewhere. At the end, I just had them break shield wall and just charge. Now, again, I tried forming shield wall against this massive infantry attack of Italian spearmen, and still they do a pretty bad job. Some aren't even facing the front. Now I finally had decided to get them out of there. As you can see, the remnants of the other Italian spear guard has just been routed. And me getting the Evocati cohort, I sent them charging in, and having my Corsican auxiliaries just retreating out. Once again, I tried to form them into a shield wall, but again, once again, that fails. Now you might be asking me, is that only the 2 units that I'm sending? No, I'm sending a lot more, but they're just in the back. And micromanaging these units are quite painful. As you can see, I'm trying to bring down the gate. My units are just firing massive gate walls. And the entire purpose of that is just to give them a sense that I'm going to be charging through the gate and this little army is going to be delaying. As a matter of fact, we win the battle. For the next turn, we're just going to be assaulting the other provinces in Africa. As of right now, our general has leveled up. Once again, I'm going to maintain the blockade. And we're going to look at our navy, which has just leveled up. So I'm just going to upgrade them. And I'm going to deploy my army onto Carthage. Now, once again, this army has also leveled up, so I'm just going to upgrade them too. And as a reward for him winning the Battle of Carthage, his first victory outside of Sicily, I'm gonna give him a marriage. And that is gonna also be a practical reason later. But as of right now, this episode is almost at a close. So we are just destroying places, and the reason why I'm just gonna keep building temples. I know Lepidus has other places right here, so I'm just gonna send a spy to scout out. And eventually this episode is gonna end. As a matter of fact, it's gonna end right now. So everyone, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Now before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.